Are you body smart? Self-assessment of bodily kinesthetic intelligence. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence involves the perfection of skills through mind-body union or brain-body coordination. It deals with the exceptional control of one's bodily motions and trained responses, the skillful handling and manipulation of objects, and the use of a range of physical skills and bodily talents that strengthen the neural pathways in the brain. Some of the people who are usually developed in this area of intelligence are actors, athletes, builders, cooks, craftspeople, dancers, musicians, pilots, police officers, sewers, soldiers, and surgeons. Let's get started. Can you skillfully handle and manipulate objects such as ruler, paintbrush, scissors, knife, ball, stick, string, etc.? Constantly. Occasionally. Rarely. Can you perform fine and gross motor movements, such as writing, coloring, cutting, threading beads, reaching for an object, running, throwing, catching, kicking, and lifting, in a restrained or controlled way? Constantly. Occasionally. Rarely. Can you use a variety of physical skills at a given time without easily getting tired? Constantly. Occasionally. Rarely. Can you cleverly mimic other people's gestures or mannerisms? Constantly. Occasionally. Rarely. Do you communicate through facial expressions and gestures more than language? Constantly. Occasionally. Rarely. Can you easily pick up new dance steps, new ways to produce a particular movement, or new skills involving handicrafts and other works with the hands? Constantly. Occasionally. Rarely. Are you engaged in at least one physical activity, such as cooking, sewing, woodworking, repairing, and other similar activities in mechanics, on a regular basis? Constantly. Occasionally. Rarely. Do you enjoy working with clay or other messy activities that involve tactile experiences, such as finger painting and gardening? Constantly. Occasionally. Rarely. Do you talk more about what you have physically done than what you have seen, heard, or felt? Constantly. Occasionally. Rarely. Do you find it easy to stand, walk, stretch, bend, climb stairs, play chasing games, ride a bike, skate, swim, and do other exercises? Constantly. Occasionally. Rarely. Do you have a dramatic way of expressing yourself? Constantly. Occasionally. Rarely. Do you think through somatic sensations that cause you to train your bodily motions and responses and to achieve good reflexes and sense of timing? Constantly. Occasionally. Rarely. Do you have good balance, hand-eye coordination, body awareness, and mind-body connection that allows you to fire the correct muscles to achieve your desired motion? Constantly. Occasionally. Rarely. Do you have creative movements that you express through dance and music? Constantly. Occasionally. Rarely. Do you excel in one or more athletic sports, and are you motivated by any kind of physical competition? Constantly. Occasionally. Rarely. Do you like to take things apart and put them back together again? Constantly. Occasionally. Rarely. Do you have techniques that become ingrained and cause particular movements to become more automatic? Constantly. Occasionally. Rarely. Do you understand better through hands-on thinking or movement-based learning that involves moving around, touching different materials like fabric and stone, and using tools and devices? Constantly. Occasionally. Rarely. Do you have good kinesthetic imagery or the ability to feel the movements as you perform them and describe the strength and energy involved in each action? Constantly. Occasionally. Rarely. Do you experience different physical sensations when working, move some body parts when deep in concentration, and twitch or fidget when seated for a long time in one spot? Constantly. Occasionally. Rarely. Do you have other bodily kinesthetic strengths that are not mentioned here? Feel free to add them to your assessment. Describe your bodily kinesthetic intelligence. Strong. Good. Average. Developing. Each person possesses bodily kinesthetic intelligence. Although this intelligence exists in different strengths in different individuals, everyone has the capacity to develop it into a reasonably high level of competency if given the appropriate encouragement, enrichment, and instruction. Spady believes that all students can learn and succeed, but not all on the same day in the same way. General research findings on different areas or fields of intelligence. Intelligence is not fixed at birth. It changes and grows through life. It can be taught and can be improved and expanded by activating levels of perception. A stronger, more dominant intelligence can be used to train or strengthen a weaker intelligence. Mead emphasizes that in order to have a more diversified society, we must create a culture where every unique human gift has a sure place.